Known versus unknown. I believe this is the key to unlocking the potential of your marketing long term. And oddly enough, I learned why many of you don't like it while at a conference last week talking to the people who should love it more than anybody else, marketing professionals.
My goal is to help restaurant owners finally get to where they want to go. But more than that, my goal is to find entrepreneurs within that segment that actually know what it means to hustle. That's my goal. Come on the journey with me.
Restaurant Marketing Secrets, episode 337. I'm your host, Matt Plapp, and we're brought to you by America's Best Restaurants. America's Best Restaurants is on a path to help you, independent restaurant owners, find more frequent customers. Because right now, you're too reliant on infrequent customers, and they don't pay your damn bills. They don't give you the extra money you need to hire the right team and to upgrade your life. Yes, upgrade your life because that's what you deserve. I just got back from Miami, Florida, one of the 3 times every year I travel south to an event hosted by Yesenia and Josh Nelson of Seven Figure Agency. It's a business mastermind specifically for marketing companies like America's Best Restaurants to go down there and be around the same people that are on the same mission and understand what you're all doing right or wrong and how to get to the next level. It is honestly one of the key missing factors I see in most small businesses, and especially the restaurant business. As an owner, you're spending more time in the kitchen than you are the boardroom. And this to me is my boardroom. This is where I remove myself out of the office, out of dealing with my employees and my customers, and put myself in a room with other CEOs. And recently, Josh and Yesenia have added what they call the A players. This event for 2020, 2021, and part of 2022 was all of 2022, so basically 3 years for me, was all about the CEOs. 2023, this year, they rolled out the A figures or A players where I could bring my key managers down with me and they would communicate with other A players from the other agencies. And that's added a dynamic because it's the same thing in your restaurant. Let's say you do remove yourself from the kitchen 4 or 5 times a year and go hang out with other owners and brain dump and get stuff. Well, what about your GM? What about your kitchen manager? Are they just going to the NRA show and places like that and listening to the conferences, from stage, or are they actually going somewhere at a round table with like-minded people? So it's a huge opportunity that I think all of you should look at and figure out how to get out of your way. I know David Scott Peters has his Mastery Plus program where they get together a couple times a year, and it's the same vision. So on this trip, I get to spend time with people that are in similar places as me or are going to be where I'm at or have already been there. It's about 300-person event. I spend most of my time, probably 10 to 20 people on a consistent basis. There's lunches, there's dinners, there's breakfast that you mingle at. There's networking events. There's also the sessions and mastermind sessions at the table where they'll talk for an hour, then you 5 people at your table talk deeper. Last week, I had been thinking about a topic that I had heard on a few different podcasts, ironically, and I'm guessing YouTube suggested it because I engaged in the depth of the video. Instead of watching 20 seconds, I watched 20 minutes. So I got a couple of videos on the same topic, and it was the relation of branding to your advertising. And what they mean by that and what I mean by that is you've got marketing, you got advertising. Marketing is the overall picture, the big picture of your entire idea of how to get your brand out. Advertising is a segment of your marketing. And for the most part, branding can be defined a lot within marketing. Advertising is directly affected by the strength of your branding. And it hit me last week when I was talking to some of these marketing agencies, I figured out the problem. It's the relation between known to unknown. As the title of this podcast says, known versus unknown. The other day I did a podcast, seen versus unseen. What are the things you're doing that you're seeing that you're doing, and what are the unforeseen consequences of you doing that? In this case, it's known versus unknown. There's no doubt, and there should be no illusion to the fact that the more often consumers engage with your brand, the more often they will eat at your restaurant. That if I see your restaurant, let's just say from a very simple layman term, let's say I see your restaurant sign 100 times a year in 2022, but in 2023, I see it 1,000 times. Now, I'm operating under the assumption that I like your restaurant. So it's a restaurant that I like, the service, the food, the atmosphere is all good. If I go from seeing your sign 100 times to 1,000 times, there is a 0% chance I will not eat at your restaurant more often. Is that one more visit? Is that 10 visits, 100? I don't know. Way above my pay grade. There's probably people out there that have figured that out. It's frequency. How frequent does your marketing, your name, your brand need to be in front of me before I pull the trigger to eat there more often? Now, I bring up that sign because I think we all can relate with that, because the majority, if not every single one of you, have never looked at the ROI of your sign. You open your restaurant and there's things you have to do, right? Back when I was first in radio, you had to be in Yellow Pages. Now you got to have a sign. Got to have a big, bright, gorgeous sign on your building. And you never look at it and 2 years ago, oh shit, man, that sign's not doing its job, because you don't know. You assume it's how people realize where you are. They might first find you by seeing it. It might reinforce that that's a place they want to go to again. It might be when they're looking at a map trying to find you, look up, go, oh shit, there it is. But your sign is, in essence, part of your branding. And it's a part of your marketing that you never look at from an ROI standpoint. And this is what this podcast is about. Because last week, I figured out the problem with regards to known versus unknown. And I had a great example of it right in front of me. And there's a couple things here that I'm going to unpack for you. But in that group, I'm sitting at these round tables, I'm talking to people. Now, I'm unique. I'm a unicorn in the room. There's three things my company does that I'd say in this room there was probably 300 people and a couple hundred people online watching virtually. Which, by the way, get out of your own way and get to events live. Get rid of the virtual shit. And this was actually before the pandemic that they did this, because people just couldn't afford to travel or do it. You've got to afford it. Any single marketing company out there, including Matt Platt, because I was a cheap ass back when I first started doing these. I hated spending the money. You have to invest in yourself. So get out of your own way and travel to an event. Do not watch it on Zoom. And this goes for the restaurants as well. Get out of your restaurant. Quit complaining that you can't afford it. Because if you have a brick and mortar restaurant, you can't afford $5,000 every quarter to go somewhere, and it's not even $5,000. You can do it for a couple thousand. But if you can't afford to go somewhere, that's a whole other topic. But as I'm in this room talking to people, there are three things that my company does at a very big level right now, and we will continue to do, that nobody else in the room does. And I'm not exaggerating, nobody. I was on a panel. Number one is sales team. I was on a panel with 5 other agencies about building and scaling a sales team for your marketing company. Because all of us start as the salesperson. Like you as a restaurant, or what's unique, you can't start a restaurant by yourself. That's one of the things you guys have tough. You've got to start a restaurant and have a line cook. You got to have a hostess, a server, man. You got to have all these positions. You probably got to have 20 people to start your restaurant. I started my company with me. And then 2 years after that, I got Ashley. And then 3 years after that, we got one more person. So majority of the marketing companies in this country started with one person, the owner. And that person sold, created, delivered, and managed. Did it all. And the biggest problem they have is getting themselves out of the way and letting loose of control. So I was on a panel with how to build a sales team. The 5 people on this panel all had one salesperson. Matt Plapp's team has 14. And some of us are exact revenue size. And it's staggering because, number one, the owners are doing a lot more than I am in the sales world. But also, their runway is not much more than it is right now. Their runway is a couple $100,000 to $500,000 of where they're sitting right now. My runway literally is $25 million with the team I have in place. I have invested in a sales team. The second part is marketing team. In that room, probably 25% have somebody on their team that is their video person or is helping them with the marketing of their company. 75% have none of it. Matt Plapp has a team of 4 stateside. 3 are in my building. My marketing director, David Schlatter, is in Philadelphia. I see him every couple weeks. He's been with me for going on, I think, 3 years now, 4 years. We have a team of 4 people and then a few overseas. So we have massively bigger marketing team than anybody else. And which is, again, to my runway. Those guys add another 25 to 50 million to my runway. I've already got it in place. I'm investing in people right now to get me where I want to go. And the third component is paid advertising. Is that we are investing in paid advertising. As I sat at that conference and did the math based on that day, right now we're about between $2,200 to $3,000 a day that we are spending on Facebook ads. That's just Facebook ads. $2,000 to $3,000 every day. I think yesterday's was about $3,100. I'll actually pull it up right now as I'm talking. But I looked at that and I brought it up that a lot of you are starving your growth because you're not spending money on advertising. And so as I sit here having this conversation with my peers in a room, these are marketing professionals. Let's see what we spent yesterday. Oh, I got to go to the right account. Hold on. I digress. Man, I got to go in. I'm in the Facebook Ads Manager. I want to see what we spent yesterday. So yesterday, I want to go to my overall spent, and I want to click the campaigns I'm thinking about here. Hang with me, because we got about 10 different ads running. Okay, cool. There we go. So I choose those, and we are at $2,817.69 yesterday. We reached 112,000 people. We had 133,000 impressions, and then there's other stats in there that don't total up, but we had, 50 appointments scheduled. I would imagine tens of thousands of video views. But I digress. I go back to what I'm talking about here. We have invested in my company and salespeople. We have invested in marketing professionals. We have invested in advertising spend. So Matt, why am I telling you that a bunch of restaurant owners this? Because as I'm in this room, I'm talking to people that are identical to me, that are out there on a daily basis expecting you, restaurant owners, or in their case, their clients, HVAC companies, car dealerships, massage parlors, home builders, insurance companies, real estate agents. They're out there preaching all of this stuff, but they're not practicing it. And as I sat around these tables and had conversations, they all know, shit, that's Matt Plapp. They know who I am because we brand like a mother. We have marketing out there. They all see my stuff. They're like, dude, how did you get to a point where you spent that level of money and that you were comfortable doing it because you knew it worked? And it cracked me up. I literally cracked me up, because what they were asking me, if you read between the lines, was how do you know the ROI on your marketing? I do not want to spend the money you're spending, Matt, on marketing without knowing it's going to work. And here's the people that are telling their clients to do this, but they're not doing it themselves. And after the break, I'm going to tell you my answer because it relates completely to you.
We interrupt this programming for a brief announcement from our sponsor.
Hey, it's Matt. Okay, there's no sponsor here, just us. We don't have advertising in our podcast. It's just us dropping value to help you build the ultimate marketing plan for your restaurant. But I want you to take advantage of something. We have our America's Best Restaurants University. Yes, it's not actually a university. It's an online training, but it is a great place for you to learn how to market your restaurant at a high level and join our community online and in our Facebook group. Go to abru.online/free. abru.online/free. Join the ABR University and let us help you get to the next level. Now back to the show.
This is where it comes into play, known versus unknown. So the podcast, a couple of podcasts I heard a week or two ago, one of them was by Alex Hormozy, and he talked about how episode 7 of his podcast at the time was called Gym Launch Secrets. Now it's called The Game, I believe. But episode 7 back in like 2015 or 16 was about how he didn't believe branding was needed. And he's like, I've switched my entire philosophy on that since then, and I would keep it that way. because branding is ultra important. Branding is what supports your other marketing at a high level, meaning that if a consumer sees your restaurant, buy one, get one free burrito, margarita night, pizza and pasta night, whatever the heck you're doing. If they see something where you're trying to convince them to come in, the level at which they take action is 100% tied to the branding of your company. And as I sat around this table last week, numerous times, breakfast, lunch, dinner, the round tables in between the sessions, the biggest question I got from people was, Matt, you have invested multiple seven figures. The agency, this group is called Seven Figure Agency. Between my sales, marketing, and advertising spend, we have over $2 million being spent annually. So like I'm what's considered a multiple seven-figure agency in this group. I'm probably going to be the next 12 months to 24 months be way ahead of everybody on sales because of what we've developed and we've been taking our time. But also because we've invested in branding, marketing, and advertising. We've invested in all of those components so that when one of my salespeople calls a restaurant, they know who the hell we are. And there's already some level of trust, if not already a lot of trust. They call it the know, like, and trust. They know you, and they like you. They know, like, and trust you. That is the problem with marketing. Everybody wants to know, what's my ROI? Hey, Matt, you're spending $2 million between marketing and sales. Let's just call it $1 million on marketing and advertising. My marketing team cost me about $250,000. My ad budget cost me about $750,000. You're spending $1 million in 2023. What is the ROI on? I said, well, that's a tricky question. Because Peter Glenn on my team, Peter Glenn, not two people, Peter Glenn, is Matt Plapp digitally. He films me. He edits my stuff. He follows me around. He makes majority of my social media posts. There is no direct ROI on that. But I know at my core of my belief in marketing that is going to be a relevant piece of our marketing in the future. I know it supports everything else. Because if I'm spending money on a paid Facebook ad, I better have things behind that when people research me. I better have things that support that go, oh shit, that's that guy. And so when these agencies ask me exactly what all of you restaurants ask me, these loose questions, it comes down to, Matt, if I spend $1 million, what am I going to get? In your case as a restaurant, most of our clients are spending $50 to $75,000 a year in their entire marketing program. If I spend $50,000 a year, what am I going to get in return? And here's the answer. Number one, there needs to be a percentage of it that, yes, you expect to see a return right now. But there needs to be a percentage of it that you do not expect. And that you know in your heart of hearts that if you keep doing that for the next 3 to 5 years, you will succeed. Because if you are talking about the growth and the success of your business in days, weeks, and months, you are completely effed. But if you are talking about the growth and success of your business in years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, then you're on there. Our vision for our company, what I have really ingrained in myself is 10, 20, 30. The 30 in that equation means 2030. Yes, 2030, 6.5 years from now. That is what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at 2024, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. I'm looking at 2030. Are the decisions I'm making right now to build my culture, to build our products, to advertise our company, to build our brand, are they supporting what's happening in 2030? Are they going to get me there? We want to visit 10,000 independent restaurants with the ABR Roadshow. We want to have 20,000 restaurants in ABR University by 2030. What I'm doing every day has to support that. And guess what? There ain't an ROI on 75% of what I'm doing that's even measurable anytime or measurable short-term especially. But there are things that are ROI. Like I can go in the ads in there and I can look at one ad in particular that yesterday $121 was spent. It reached 4,040 people. I don't know the ROI of that 4,040 people. But you know what? I know the ROI that it got 3 appointments. So 3 out of 4,040, spent $121.51, cost me $40.50 every time people scheduled an appointment from that ad. I had 3 people. It made 4,687 impressions across 4,040 people, of which 3 scheduled a meeting. Cost me $40.50 for each of those meetings. Of those meetings, one of those people will not be qualified / show up, which means 2 will. And of those 2, about 0.75 will become a customer. So if I were to look at that on a bulk, if I were to look at 10 of those meetings, I know 3 of those aren't going to happen. And I know 3 of the 7 that remain will. I understand that ROI. I don't have an ROI on the other 4,037 people that I reached with that ad. Because if you only look at the ROI of what happens today, you neglect the future. You choke your growth. There is no if, ands, or buts about that. And I'm going to finish this with a story. Before I tell the story, I'm going to say an equation. I wholeheartedly believe that you need to be building a marketing budget. And by the way, I'm telling you all this, I'm preaching this to you because I didn't do it 5-6 years ago. Matt Plapp was scared shitless doing any of this stuff. Billy Jean Shaw, my coach, 2016 and 17, harped on me to get out of sales and to get out of the marketing and to hire people. And I didn't. And I finally hired David Schlatter, my first ever marketing employee. And now we have 4 people on David's team and then a couple overseas. And now they have, when I hired David, he had no budget for advertising. Now he has a budget of right now $3,000 a day. And by the way, that's a shitload of money. That's a lot of money. It scares the crap out of me some days, but then I look at it and see the results from yesterday. I'm like, oh, okay. Look at that reach. Look how many people we reached yesterday as a small marketing company. But if I want to be a big marketing company, I got to do what it takes to get big. My 2 workouts I did yesterday, the CrossFit gym and my 2.5 mile run, I'm not doing those to get in shape next week. I'm doing them to be alive in 40 years. And so your marketing, you need to attack it the same way. Is some of the stuff you're doing, working out right now, this week, this month, this year, helping you for what you want to do now? Yes. But the big picture is to keep you alive and to keep you healthy long term. Same with your restaurant's marketing. You need to look at your marketing through the lens that, and this is no scientific, this is just me throwing it out there, that about a third of what you do, you need to be able to see exactly what's happening with it. Because if I couldn't look at my ads on Facebook and see those 3 appointments from that ad of 4,000, it's tougher to believe the 4,000 is going to help down the road. But when I see that I spent $40 or $50 to get 3 people to give us their name, their phone number, their email, their restaurant name, and they also filled out a couple questions, and they scheduled a meeting, and I know that 2 of those meetings will happen, and that more than likely one of those people will become a client of our company, I'm like, cool. The other part of me, I have to also believe a third of what I spend is building momentum for the next person to schedule. Because as I said, there's 4,040 people that saw that and only 3 scheduled. Did they see it for 1 second or 5 minutes? That's the difference. How much time did they engage in it? Were they even the right person? But there's 4,037 people who saw either Matt Plapp or America's Best Restaurants. And they could have seen the ABR University. They could have seen our free trainings. They could have seen the roadshow. They could have seen marketing consulting. There's a lot of things they could have seen in there. Of those people, those 4,037 that did not schedule an appointment, we have built people into our no funnel. These people know who we are. And then the last part is putting in place. So you got 33%, let's say, for the, I know how much I spent and what's going to happen. 33% for the fact that I've spent money to reach people that's going to influence a future decision. And then 33% you have to spend on what's going to help you build a brand. I'll finish with a story. Been a longer podcast than normal. I'm sitting at the table. We've got 6 of us at the table. I'm the coach because I'm a mentor in this program. So I'm in charge of getting people to bring out their big question they have, and then we all round table how we can solve it. Well, this one guy I had never met. He's there at the event. First time he's been at the event. I've never met him before. Got a pretty successful agency. He sends his buddy a text message during the session. Hey, have you ever heard of a guy named, Matt Plapp? This is what he said. Do you know who Matt Plapp is? This guy owns a restaurant in Arizona. The guy texts him back, yes, I know who Matt Plapp is, comma, not personally, comma, I listened to his podcast, this one, and I've seen him on many more. P.S. Apparently he loves the color orange. This wasn't prompted by that guy. That guy asked a simple question, does he know who Matt Plapp is? The guy turns and shows me the text. I laughed my ass off. We took a selfie. He sent it to him. It sparked a conversation. I'll meet this restaurant at some point in the near future. In 2016, I realized the color orange needed to be our brand. For 5 to 7 years before that, I had been wearing orange and not realizing it had some significance. In 16, 17, 18, 19, when I decided to wear orange every day, shoes, shirts, have cars, have company branding, you name it, I never once thought of the ROI of it. Now it's to a point where it happens every day. People text me cars, they text me boats, they text me gear. I get gifts in the mail. I see conversations like that. The orange branding has helped me build something bigger than I will ever realize. And there is no flipping ROI. I will not know the ROI. And you don't want to know how much money I've spent on orange shit. And how much money we've spent on graphic design, how much money we've spent on business stuff that is relevant to the color orange. It is branding. The point of this whole thing is, do you want to be known or unknown? And then if you are trying to convert people with marketing, the importance of if you are known and unknown is directly related to that. If I see your offer for a burrito, for a steak, for a pizza, for a milkshake, your relevance in my mind will influence me at a different level. If I know, like, and trust your brand, that ad will convert 100 times better than if I have no clue who you are. To wrap a big bow around all of this, you have to buy into the entire vision. You can't expect to spend money and see the entire outcome today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. You can't say, but Matt, we spent money on marketing and our sales didn't go up last year. Well, did it not go up because of other reasons? Did maybe that marketing help fix a problem and you didn't go up, but you also didn't go down 20% because of it? Marketing works. If you do not believe that any and all marketing works, then take down your damn sign, take your logo off of all your food, get rid of your company of colors and company logos, get rid of your Facebook page, your website, everything you do. You either have to be all in or not in at all. And I'm so tired of everybody relying on ROI. Did this work? Did it work today, tomorrow, next week, next month, this year? You will not know. But if you keep thinking in a short-term mindset, you will never get there. Oh, known versus unknown. The more known you become, the better your marketing will work, and it only happens when you commit to it long term. You committed to your lease, you committed to your equipment, you committed to that damn sign. Commit to your vision and market the hell out of it.
So as you know, I don't charge for my content. We don't have sponsors. We don't have product placement in here. But what I want your help with is spreading the word. If you're finding value here, do me a favor. Share this on your social media. Share an episode with something that made sense to you, that's relevant to your restaurant, that you got value from, and tag Matt Plapp and America's Best Restaurants. Also, go to America's Best Restaurants on Facebook and on Google and leave us a review. Let us know the impact we've had on your restaurant with our roadshow, with our marketing help, or with our podcast. And last but not least, if you want to take the next step and help me out a lot and help us out a lot, text me a testimonial, 859-743-2408. That's my cell. A selfie video would be awesome about the impact this content or our company is having on your independent restaurant. But worst case scenario, just a few kind words. The way we can help lift this industry up is to help get content like this to more independent restaurant owners, and you are the key to spreading the word. I appreciate your support. Have an amazing day.